trauma coach, and I am a Reiki master. I'm a mom of 2 boys. One of my youngest boy, who's now almost 19, is a survivor of mental illness himself. He was, by the time he was 16, he had attempted suicide 3 times. So I am happy to say that we are not there anymore. We are not close to any of that anymore. And things have come so far from that. And when I look at how I got from where I started to where I am, oddly enough, the answer is serial dating. Right.
Did you say serial dating?
Just after my kids were young, they were 2 and 3, I left their dad. And I realized that I wanted more for my kids than the life that I was in. And I got into a relationship with somebody who instantly, from leaving my kid's dad, taught me or made me believe that I couldn't have anything more than him. That nobody was going to want to be a dad of somebody else's children, wasn't going to want to raise somebody else's children, especially young children, 2 and 3 years old. He, because I was so easily convinced, I was in that relationship for 8 long years. And it took a lot for me to realize that I wanted more than that as well. And so after 8 years, I left. And not really sure in the moment what made me decide that, other than I just, again, wanted more for my boys. And very quickly, because I also had this perception, much like Fiona, that I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted to be with a person. I wanted to come home to a person. And that, by definition, is what gave me purpose. So very quickly, I got into another relationship. And that relationship obviously was not very healthy because it was very quick from one to the other. But what that did teach me was that somebody did want to raise other people's children. They were willing to stand up for other people's children. And when I was in that relationship, I was trying to look back and I was asking myself, what the hell did I do for 8 years? Why did I stay so long? And the answer was because that's how long it took me to change my perception of what I wanted and what I felt I deserved. And as soon as I realized that, I realized the relationship I was in was also not a good relationship. And so I ended that relationship. And again, because I believed that my worth was attached to another human being, within several months, I was again in a relationship where I did everything that I needed to do for the other person. I did things with his family. I went to his events with his friends. I completely changed everything about what I wanted and my goals in life. And I sat once again and I thought, what in the hell am I doing? And this time when I left this relationship, because you'll be all happy to know that I did leave it, I decided I needed to take the time to figure out what I wanted. And when I look back at all 3 of these relationships, every single one of these major relationships taught me a little bit more about my value, about who I was, and about what I wanted and what was important for me to show my boys that they deserved in this life. And although, much like Fiona, I could have looked back and I could have said these were all failures, they very much were not. And the thing that I realized is that changing my perception to what I was doing and why I was doing it was the thing that made those relationships successful. Because I did learn something out of every single one of them, and I did come away a stronger person in every one of them. I hired a coach. I also cleared all of my chakras. It brought me to Reiki. I wrote a book about my journey to reconnecting with my son through his struggles with mental health. And now I teach others to do the same thing. And I am in a current relationship, and that relationship is now the healthiest relationship I can say I've ever been in. That guy does not have any version of who I've ever been in my past, because I realized through all of this journey, the thing that I thought was outside, the thing that I thought that everybody else could fulfill, I actually realized I needed to find that in me first. And as soon as I found it in myself, that for me was the best thing I could have done, both for myself and for my boys. And that completely changed my perspective on dating, on relationships, and on the value that I put in myself. That's the one thing that I wish every single one of you could take away from this tonight, is that as soon as you change your perspective and you start looking at what you get from each interaction with each person in each relationship, all of those things increase your value and make you a stronger and better person than you could be. Thank you.